Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So I'm just going to do the actual Deadman replay here. I finished a turn actually at, God, it might have been about 1 o'clock last night, actually. So I was too tired. to do the replay then. Well, the summary, sorry. So I'm going to do it now, so you guys can see what is going on for the 3rd of January. I think this is probably the way I need to just sort of approach things now. Just like go with the date, and then people know what date it is. I mean, that means more than like turn 1, 2, 2, 3, you know what I mean? I think that makes more sense. So what am I doing? We're going to start with the carriers then, first and foremost. What I'm doing then is I'm bringing the Hosho group over here. It's a difficult one because I don't want to be too close to Sumatra, just in case there is detection. I definitely do not want to be close to Java. So this position here that I'm moving to is about 17 away from Batavia. 16 here. He could potentially detect us if he had aircraft. Now, thankfully, we do not see aircraft over here. He has bombers over here and 43 fighters. So no auxiliaries as far as I can see. There's no auxiliaries over there either. We do see the auxiliaries over here at Surabaya. So that's good. It sort of gives us some confidence, and we do see detection. Not much, but we do see some detection over these other bases over here. Along the rest of Sumatra. Not to say that there can't be aircraft. There could be. But as far as I can see, there's none right now. So I'm bringing it to this position here. The reason being, you see that we're 13 hex away from Jujambe. We're 13 as well from Palembang. So the good news is that means that we do have a healthy amount of naval search helping us out here. We also do have the benefit of potential torpedo coverage as well. I mean, obviously we could have these guys set to naval attack and they could potentially support us out here. But naval search is probably the greatest thing they'll be able to do for us. Importantly as well, I do have the ability to use A6 and 2s over here to actually run long-range cap over the carriers if I need to, over the carrier if I need to. But I'm likely going to be looking towards bringing her into Benkolin to potentially refuel somewhat. There's going to be the likelihood there. What I'm going to be doing then is I'm going to restart the campaign against Batavia. What I've done is I've brought 2 0 groups over here. So there's 30 zeros there, obviously with their reserves as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have them ready to strike against Batavia. I'm going to start this off by sweeping Batavia. So if I go ahead and take a look. So you can see they're set to sweep. These guys are set to escort over here. Over Palembang. And yeah, Palembang. So they're in the cap there. This will be transferred elsewhere. I do have... Where did I send them? Let me double check. So they're over here at Makassar. Okay, on Makassar. So they're in the naval search out there. So that's what we're going to do. What we need to do is I need to subjugate the airfield here. I need to dominate Batavia. I need to dominate that airspace. And then what I can do is I can bring all the heavy cruisers and etc. out through here. And I can use them to just refuel it, essentially. I could even send just AKs to refuel it. But we need to just really achieve dominance of this area here. Which is definitely doable. We just need to get a position where we're able to carry that out. We just need to carry it on. So I think what I'm probably going to do is have the sweeps over here with the zeros at 51,000 feet. And just go for the sweeps for a little while. Give them the ability to try and whittle down that cap. And then I can restart the actual bombardment. Well, yeah, actually bombing Batavia's airfield. I do have Isalis that are going to be tasked with actually bombing Singapore once again over here. Along with the aircraft over here at Johor Bahru. There's plenty over here at Kuantan that need to be transferred. They're being repaired by 2 AVs that are in port, so they'll be done in the future. If I go ahead and check on their repair status, you can see, yeah, so they'll be done in a couple of days. Some will take more time than others, but obviously they were bombing there for some time, weren't they? With little rest as well. So over here, these guys are continuing to rest. They're going to have another day rest in here. So you can see that fatigue needs to come down. And that fatigue will come down pretty quickly. In a short order. So they should in theory arrive next turn, I'm hoping. But I think what we'll do then is I'll probably wait until January 5th. Depending on when the headquarters arrive and depending on the fatigue levels. We'll wait until that sort of time and then we'll launch an attack. So I'm going to say around about January 6th we'll launch an attack there. And this is it. We're doing well. It didn't quite go as I would have wanted to, due to the fact that we're crossed without really wanting to. And that was an unexpected one. But that's fine. As far as it goes, Malaya is almost done now. we will be launching an attack over here. Launch an attack over here as well. And we wiped out those forces this turn, which is good news. And these forces over here. So the only forces that remain are these fellows over here, which a regiment is on their way to go deal with them. They have 16 miles. I think they're marching 4 miles. So they'll have 20 miles tomorrow, so nearly halfway. It's going to take them a while. It's going to take them a good few turns. But it's one of those when it has to be done. It just has to be done. You need to make sure you send enough forces because of the terrain that they're in. But they'll be able to supply pretty quick, but it just has to be done. There's no two ways about it. We can't just ignore it. But once they are dealt with, then that is Malaya truly under our control, which is excellent news. Okay. I mean, the good news is, as soon as we do take Singapore, I do have everything in place to just really take it very, very quickly. I'm talking with the idea that I do have the third fleet. I think next turn, depending on what the situation looks like, I may have them unload at Mersing and then have them march. But it's one of these, if I unload them at Mersing, it's a 6-day march to Singapore. But if I keep them on the ships, then it's one of those that we're waiting for the DMSs to clear the mines, but they could probably be in there sooner. So it's one of those things, it's a few options there. These troops are marching up north. These ships are going to be sent back to BLeAcHACiD. I do have Kai-43s over here now. Now the intriguing thing is we did see B-17s actually attack out from Surabaya last time, which is intriguing. And what I'm doing this turn is I'm running 8% cap with the zeros. Now the B-17s came in at about 10,000 feet, so I'm going about 11,000 feet. But obviously, due to the fact that we do have a cannon with that higher effect and greater penetration, we should be able to deal with the B-17s in a much superior fashion. They do have some fatigue, but not terrible amounts. Pilots are alright. Experience is pretty good as well. The airframes have a varying amount of strain on them. You can really see that it does take a long time of maintenance to really reduce all that strain on that aircraft. I mean, that's a cool thing. I do have the zeros over here, and I will keep them here for the time. What I've done is I've taken the G4s here. I've split 2 of them off to do naval search. I've got one of them, the one at the top there, I think it is the A detachment. I'm going to have them run reconnaissance over Darwin. He does have aircraft over here. I want to kind of get a sense of what he has. Likely it could be PB-wise. But if we can try and figure that out, that will give us some idea as to what to do. Now, I was going to have these submarines really en masse patrol this area. But what I'm going to do is just have a couple of them here. And these patrol patterns are just rough. I was doing it pretty late last night, so I was a bit tired. The only issue is I think we want to be... It's a difficult one. I'm probably better off just patrolling here. Because this is all ocean shallow. It's really not worthwhile having submarines in there. It depends on the resistance, but things can go pretty wrong pretty rapidly. Okay. Over here, the H6K4s are going to continue to fly in additional AV. We do have level 1 fortifications. We'll have level 2 fortifications likely next turn as well. But right now, we only have, what, 2 AV in there? But that's still going to be plenty enough. There's enough supply in here for a good long while. It's times-free terrain. There's fortifications. There's going to be more fortifications. There's a naval guard unit, which is not too far away. It looks like that might be making 4 miles per day as well, unfortunately, due to there being no roads. I do have, let's see, not that. That's carrying a bunch of engineers over here. We're going to have a lot of engineers. We're going to have a lot of engineers here soon. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing transportation aircraft. There's a couple over here. And we're going to move them over just a little bit of a time, as I still need some transportation aircraft elsewhere. But these guys over here, when they're available, will be based at Rabaul. And then for Rabaul, I will be able to use them to transfer engineers up to 14 hexes to a base that we already own, which is enough for Tulagi, and obviously it's enough for all these bases in this area. But what I can do then is I can sort of pick up engineers and move them around. We'll do so from Rabaul. But the good news is we're going to be building Rabaul up to size 7 airfield. So having a bunch of engineers there as like sort of the pit stop is not a bad idea either, as it allows us to build up that airfield pretty quickly. And that will be quite nice. This area is going to be really built up in the future. It's just getting to that point. What I'm doing with Akagi is I'm moving Akagi. Now the issue is Akagi is detected. Not very well, but it is detected. So I'm going to have that move away from the area. Also move away from potential submarines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move them to this position over here, which is 12 hexes from Rabaul. Obviously it's closer to Truck. But the reason why I'm going for 12 hexes, as you can see, we do have the A5M4s over here. I have resized them. They're going to be resized to 81 planes next turn, which means, in effect, we could in fact, let me see, can I break that? I can't break it up for some reason at the moment. It might be next when I can break it up. But what I can do, it's an independent group, which is interesting as well. That's quite useful. But what we can do is we could potentially use that and upgrade them to 0, slowly but surely, a Rabal. And it gives us a lot of aircraft to work with. I mean, like having a squadron about size 81, and if I can actually break it up, that'd be fantastic. I mean, that would allow us to have like zeros really in pretty strong numbers around here, which is exactly what we want. I do have an amphibious force that's moving out from Rabal, carrying the Maizuru first SLF. Now that's being covered by the zeros over here, and I've got some A5 M4s to cover it over here with long range cap. So it's going to be an intriguing one. If he does bring his Banshees out, at least we can have a chance of protecting them. If he brings Banshees, he's going to probably have some escorts with them by now. I would be surprised if he didn't, but who knows. The difficult thing is he does have good information in this area due to the BBYs likely being based out here. Something that is nice is the fact that he doesn't have information on this one. So it's not complete, but it can be there. We see that over here. He actually does not have detection over most of the forces. Actually, all of the forces here are not detected as far as I can tell. Obviously, he knows the Kitka army is here, which is going to have to take into consideration. I do have the sub-patrols here, if I take a look. Yes, no detection over here. We do have some A5 M4s, not many, but at least we have some. So if there is an aerial attack, at least there's a slight chance we can sort of get in there. What I'm going to do with the actual Kadipatai is I'm going to move it over here to Ongtong Java. And the reason being I want to have it in a position where ideally it's covered. You can see there, it can't be accessed from these hexes. But I want it in a position where if he does decide to get balls at Talagi, I can punish him. If he decides to bring something back to Talagi, at least I might be able to punish it there as well. And let's see, if something was to head into Talagi, be damaged not enough to be able to pull out sufficiently, then we could be able to destroy it, which is nice. It's a difficult one, really. I'm moving subs in this area over this way as well, and over this way. I don't know where his carriers are. I would suspect that they're moving around here, back towards the Pacific, so we're going to have to see about that. The good news about Akagi, by the way, is I can transfer the A5 M4s from truck and have them move down here. With the B5 and 2 Kates on a border Akagi, I'm running then 80% ASW with bombs, 20% rest at 2,000 feet, obviously at max range. So at least they'll have some ASW in this area. They do have a light amount of cap, but obviously they're moving towards friendly forces. I would be really rather flabbergasted if he did actually have something able to attack them by the air. So let's hope not. I don't think he can possibly do that, but I know what my luck is like with that man. He'll have one of those like submarine aircraft carriers from like Supreme Commander. Those were the proverbial shit. Yes, and over here then at Neodoc. Unloading the base force over here. Most of the base force is unloaded, but there's still elements over here above the AMC. Actually, there's a good chunk on the AMC here. Actually, no, not too bad. Just nearly completely loaded. And so that's good. So we're going to have those forces there. The Karga and the invasion group are going to be moving towards the Neodoc. I'm having Karga remain them with them, with them directly for the moment. But what I'll probably do then is have her link up with the Kargi, and I think what we'll do then is we'll have Karga and Kargi work together, just to provide support for the Wake Island invasion. Now, I do have the H6K4 group from the Toko KUT-1C detachment over here, running reconnaissance over Wake Island. So far, they supposedly identified one unit, but we're going to build up that reconnaissance and try and see how that looks. These submarines over here are running patrols. I'm gonna rationalize these patrols in time, because it's kind of random right now. But we'll rationalize it in time. But the good news is when we have some reconnaissance over Wake Island, and obviously have some reconnaissance, enough to really justify an operation, then I can switch these guys to naval search and just give a little bit more naval search out here. These guys are back up to 4, which is good news. I can give them reserves, which is nice. I'm going to be giving them some reserves likely next turn, perhaps. Because there's a couple of these guys who are going to be out for a couple of days. But at least 4's a decent number. More, of course, would be better. We do have oilers around here. I do have AKEs that are moving towards Saipan, where they can actually load their tenders and be available. And this is it. What we'll do then is the operation against Wake Island. The most likely thing I'll do is I could potentially move initially upon Wake Island with like a screen of patrol boats, and behind them have obviously air cover. But I think the probable best step would be to have bombardment forces. I could have AKEs actually set up either at Neodoc or Twangi. I'm going to say probably Neodoc because it's actually more sheltered, perhaps. I'd say it's more sheltered. It's a level 3 port as well, which is nice. It's pretty nice hex. It's like, it's pretty well protected. Like, you have to come in and come out this way. So it's pretty well protected. It's very hard to actually raid that via like surface assets. But then this is it, just make it easy to shut down with submarines. But that's still very well protected. Nasty little base there. But yeah, we'll go in there, bombard it with the battleships, and just make sure that we take it. Even if the base is reduced completely, that's fine. We might send some engineers there. I mean, obviously I'll have an engineer unit there. I might have a base force to hold on to it. But it's never really that important. Wake's importance really does vary. It's like a wax and a wane sort of thing, with guards in Wake. So elsewhere then. Okay. So I do have this unit over here, the Yokosuka. They're now rest and training, but what I'm going to do then is actually have and prepare for this base over here, which is a size 1 port, but a size 4 airfield. It is clear terrain as well, which is nice. So this might be another potential invasion path for us there. I'm flying over... Oh, now I'm thinking about the other game. Over here at Kandarai. What I'm doing is I'm transferring the 35th JNAF over here to Mekasar, so we can actually repair the damage there. It boosts our aviation support, which is nice. I don't particularly need it where they are now. These guys will arrive over here at Jolo. A lot of their units will be able to reform that unit in full. I'm still considering whether to go for Tarakan. It would be nice to shut down the airbase at Tarakan, but it's probably a good thing to be able to shut this down. But probably Tarakan first. These are not going to present as much in the way of challenge, as we'll be able to go about them piecemeal. I do have a 16th headquarters over here. Our casino is actually loaded up. I decided to actually put the BBs into port for the time being. The reason being, they can have a little bit of damage repaired on them. I can also upgrade their float planes, if I so choose to do so. It's not possible here, but it'd be possible elsewhere. Like where we have the fleet headquarters. Air fleet, that is. But we'll have options. It gives them a little bit of time to repair. I'm not wasting fuel as well, which is nice. Because they do consume it a lot. There we go. I decided to not attack at Clark today. The reason being, I'm going to go for another bombardment. I'm going to allow the actual headquarters to definitely arrive, which is worthwhile. But yeah, it gets our fatigue down a little bit more, gets that disruption down a little bit more. It gives us a little bit more time to recover there, which is good. I would still like to be able to have air power in place to actually hit Clark and actually reduce it, damage it somewhat. But we'll see about that. I'm going to have these aircraft repaired, so that's going to take some time. Okay. I'm loading up for a second run of fuel out from Miri. So they're going to be loading fuel. And we're going to be transferring all that fuel. I mean, this is the beautiful thing. It's carrying 8,700 tons of fuel, which is nice. 8,700 units of fuel, which is nice. So that can be moved to Camaran Bay. I mean, obviously, I'm going to work that one out, rationalize that more. There's a number of different ways you can do it. It might be that we do it to Camaran Bay, then to Kau, and then from Taihoku. Or we could do Miri, Hong Kong. There's lots of different ways they could do it. It depends on the ships and it depends on the assets they have in the area. I don't mind potentially this way. It might be worthwhile to go for Miri to Manila. And then sort of like have it taken from Apari or something like that. Or even one of these other bases over here. And there's lots and different ways you can do it. It does very much vary. I kind of like the idea of the Philippines because there's lots of bases over here that I could use for like ASW and Naval Surge. And I could potentially even move it up these bases, move it up these bases sort of thing. Just try and keep it as protected as possible, really. But lots of things ongoing. Another change that has been made, this was done last turn in fact, is I'm increasing the amount of vehicles we'll be producing. As you can see here, we have 58 facilities there. We've expanded them a little bit, but we'll have another 58 built, which should take us up to 150 total, which is good. We need more vehicles in the stockpile for future reinforcements, so that will be welcome. I've decided to go back into airframes here, if I sort by type. I'm going to produce some more of these Ki-56s, get the numbers up there a little bit. Ki-48s as well, because I did drop below the actual pool, and I didn't have enough replacements, so I'm going to up that again. I'm going to build some H6K4 Maris's and some extra G4M1s. They have been pushed a little bit. Still no in the G3s because we still have a decent stockpile. But this is how we manage things. We just like manage the actual pool like that. But yeah, if I take a look over here then with the G3s, we still have 35 in the pool, so that's good news. And there's all the reserves around there as well, which is good. Over here at Bangkok, well, sorry, yes, at Bangkok. What we decided to do is actually tone down the amount of air attack against Rangoon. So that's 100, only 40% of that squadron's going out there. But we do have these guys carrying on. And I've been contemplating giving them that time to rest, but then again, they do still have 20% search in there built in, so we'll see how long it can go. But I do worry about the H-81's arrival, so I'm going to just go with like low levels bombing. We'll see how we get on and just go from there. These submarines are going to continue to hunt those groups there. These guys as well. The submarines over here, I'm bringing some of them back. I'm going to patrol around this area as well. There's still plenty of shipping out here. I still want to get it. And these guys have been bloody lucky, in fact. Bloody lucky. We do have AKs moving into this area. Once we have the AKs, I'm going to be quite happy about that. We have Kashino here. I might have Kashino just remain in this area. Kashino's very valuable. She's quite fast. She's just great. She's unique, essentially. She brings a lot of viability there. I did have a unit. I think it was one of the units that we lost. Yes, in my Zero, yes. You can see it's been rebuilt. You can see that we still have the other elements at Kwajalein Island. So you can see the unit has arrived back in full strength. Obviously, the other strength is on Kwajalein. But what I did is I bought them out and made them Southern Army. I could have potentially had them reunite with the other unit, but I think it might go with the bulk as to what the headquarters is. So I bought them out, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to move them aboard these ships over here. The reason being I don't actually have any infantry over here at Paramashirojima as I thought I did. So what I'll do is I'll move them up there. I'll take that element of the naval guard that needs to be elsewhere. And then I actually do have a naval guard unit to take these islands. Well, to take a island or potentially take more. I do want to make an early illusions push. So I'm building up assets for that, really. So that's predominantly what's going on. In China, I'm just getting divisions in place. I do want to have like a nice... a pretty planned offensive, like have a push along here, push here, push here, push here, something, and just push around here. Oh, I forgot to order a actual attack over here. Ah, damn. I forgot about that one. I'll get that one next time. So yeah, it's all about rationalization at the moment. Trying to make good, trying to be careful, trying to just retain what we have. Essentially. But there we go. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. There's probably a little bit more that I missed, but you guys, you kind of get the gift. Gift? You kind of get the drift there. So thank you for watching. I shall see you next time. Ta-da, Hanka Banzai. Big thank you to my viewers, my subscribers, and my patrons. You guys are awesome. If you're new to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe. Share the video, helps the channel grow as well. And please do like it, that definitely helps too. Until next time, see you in the next turn. Goodbye for now.